Alright guys, so today I'm going to show you how to install some deforest bulbs. I'm not going to show you how to take off the bumper and things like that, but if you don't know, deforest bulbs are mercury-free bulbs, and I finally had one that's getting ready to go out. Let me show it to you really quickly. Alright, so it's going to be this bulb on this side. It has like a different color, so here's the normal one. It has like that white look. And then this one has like an orange look to it. So this bulb is bad. So here's what I'm going to be replacing it with. So these are the bulbs I'm going to be replacing my OEM ones with. This is the first time I've ever replaced those two. So far so good. So these are the Osram Cool Blue Boost. So although it says 7K, I don't want a blue or purple light coming out of the projector. These are just brighter. So when they say 7K with Osram, it doesn't mean that they're going to be bluer. It just means they're going to be a little bit brighter. Now, as far as brightness goes, it's not a huge improvement based off of what Osram is saying on the back here. The light color is going to be a little bit more whiter. It's going to be like a crisp white too. Brightness only goes up just a little bit, as you guys can see. Distance is not really improved at all. But lifetime is what really, I should have did a little bit more research, but the lifetime is half of what you would see versus a standard Philips or other type of HID bulb. So like I said, these are going to be mercury free, and I'm going to replace the ones inside the car. These are 35 watts, so we'll see if there's any difference in the output. I doubt there will be, but I am happy to see a little bit more whiter light though. And as you can see, my bulb has just gone out, so hopefully it's not the ballast, because sometimes the ballast could do these types of things too. So if it is the ballast, I'll of course have to do this all over again, but for right now, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be the bulb. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to show you how to uninstall the bumper, just because you can do this without uninstalling the bumper. I'm just uninstalling all this because I'm going to replace the fog lights too, because they're bad. So let's go ahead and take this bumper down. I have the bumper down, and I will remind you, you do not have to do this to get to the fog lights and the headlights. You literally can see the cap, like on this side right here. The only thing for me is I like to take them out just because it's just easier for me, and I don't have to worry about scuffing up my hand. So this is why I'm doing it this way. So the fog lights are going to be really easy to get to there. So those would be 30 seconds. And let me show you the headlight back here. There's a dust cover on the back. You twist counterclockwise to unlock it, and you will see the plug on the back. There's some clips here too. So here, let me just, this is the plug for the ballast, and then the bulb just sits in there. Now you got to remember how it goes in, because it does matter. So just keep in mind, so the clips here, there's one right there, and then there's one right here. The good news is you have 2 bulbs, so if you do forget which way it goes in, you can always just check. Now the way you're looking at this is upside down, so when you see the electrode, which is that little line, that's going to have to go down inside, but there are some notches inside. I did say it wrong in the video, so I wanted to correct it here for you. And if you remembered, it's just, goes on sideways. There's 2 little slits in here for the bulb to lock in, and you just undo it that way. Hopefully you saw me when I did it. I'll show you the other one. How about that? I didn't do a good job showing that, so I'll show it to you one more time. So the clip is like that, and all I have to do is just pull the bulb out. This is the bad bulb, and as you guys saw, it looks like the bulb is like defective or something like that. I don't know if you guys can see it in the camera there, but it's like a little white piece right there. Let me see something. Yeah, that's inside the bulb too. So let's go ahead and compare the bulbs real quickly. One thing you have to understand about these Osram bulbs is there's a lot of knockoffs on the market. So if you want the authentic ones, they have these little barcodes on here, and that way you can make sure that you're buying from a reputable place. So just make sure when you do your research that you don't buy from some place where that normally doesn't come up on the radar. Like I normally buy from the retrofit source, or I'll buy from a good Amazon provider on their website. So one thing I've learned too is If they're super cheap, like they're $50 or $60, that's probably because they're knockoff. So if you're paying decent money for them, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be a reputable place. And if you buy from Amazon, you can always return it if you find that it's not a true Osram. All right. Left side is going to be the Osram, and then this bulb I just took out is the Phillips bulb. That's what Lexus used back in the day. Right now, you don't see a lot of HIDs being used in cars. There's a very few model years that are using them, but for the most part, everyone's going to LED. And the reason why is, you know, HIDs, when they first got introduced, this was a really big breakthrough for lighting. And the D2S bulbs were the best, and to this day the best. I don't like the D4S. I was thinking about replacing the Ballast and going back to a D2S because they're brighter, obviously, and I think that they're a little bit more reliable personally. But let's go ahead and install this bulb, and like I said, there's not much difference between the two. So I'm thinking that, you know, we should have no issues with fitment or anything. So, and I wasn't expecting to have any issues with fitment, but I guess my point is, like, there's just not a lot of difference between the bulbs. And it looks like there's a little bit more in that filament on this side, but this one's a little bit older, so that's probably why. My wife's car is about 9 years old. It has 74,000 miles on it. We don't really drive this car that much. I mean, we have 2 other cars we drive. She uses this car. It's because she just likes this type of car. It's what she likes to drive. So we're probably going to replace this probably within the next year or two. But this is just a good chance to get these things replaced while she's still using the car. I didn't show this to you earlier, but this is the ballast on the other headlight. So this is good for D4R, which is reflective style headlights, and then the S is for the projector style. And this is Denso. I mean, this is something that Toyota uses for all their HIDs. I don't think they use anything other than this. So like I said, this is the bottom of the headlight, right? If you look at it, right, I'm gonna flip it over here. So this is basically how you would see it if you were looking at it with this installed, right? So let's go ahead and open this cover. All right, so this is how you would see it again. So what you would do is you would undo the plug, right? And then the clips. And then the bulb would slide right out. So this line actually has to go down. I might have said it has to go up, and I apologize. So I'll obviously edit that in the video to make sure that line is down, not up. So sorry about that. In case you were wondering, there is a little notch on this side and at the very top. That's how you know you're putting it in the correct way too. So even if someone tells you wrong, those little notches should be the biggest telltale. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this back together. Alright. And this just goes on. There's no, I didn't mention this earlier, but there's no clicking noise or anything like that. It just kind of, you just know that it's in there and it's secure if you pull on it. So you're good to go at this point. So we just got to put the fog lights in, and that's pretty much it. Alright, so I'm not trying to throw any shade on these LED fog lights, but yeah, they did suck. I'm not gonna lie to you. VLEDs has probably gotten better. This is probably like a 2nd generation for these, and their warranty process was really good too. These fans on these fog lights were really loud too. So I'm hoping that the ones I bought originally for another car, I still had them left over, and I'm hoping that those work a little bit better in this car. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these profile ones installed. I use these on a Jeep Grand Cherokee, and for some reason they actually worked well because they didn't throw any codes. Typically when you use LEDs on like a Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, especially like an older product, mine was a 2016, they'll throw an error code for some reason because of the CAN bus system. So on this car, it's kind of similar. I did use HIDs on the fog lights, which was a big mistake. I won't do that ever again. But I'm gonna go ahead and get those profile LED fog lights installed, and then we'll pretty much be done. I'll show you guys everything fired up, okay? You probably noticed that the fog light on this side wasn't illuminated. It was because I didn't have it plugged in. So they are all on, and as I mentioned earlier, yeah, these don't look any bluer, so they actually have like that crisp white. They match the LED so much better. I can't wait to see what they look like at night, so I'll be sure to put that footage in here too. These fog lights are really bright too, by the way. Like, they put out a lot of light. And these LED fog light bulbs are directional, so you can actually change the position of them. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to undo the bottom of the bumper and go on like a white garage and just kind of play with them inside the housing to see if you can get the best output and the best light on the road. So like I said, I'm going to end the video now, but I will show you some footage driving at night. So let me go ahead and get everything back together, and I'll see you guys soon. Alrighty, so here's the lights all installed. Man, these lights are crisp. They're way better than the Philips. Now, of course, this car is basically 9 years old, but this car only has 74,000 miles. So those lights weren't really used that much. My wife doesn't drive this car at night as much. Now, I turn the fog lights on. Actually, you can't really see around this mirror, but you can probably see how much light they put out. So having LEDs inside these housings are really a huge benefit. I mean, they put out a ton of light. I do need to lower the one on this side down just a little bit, but they are super bright. And I don't need the fog lights really, because these headlights are twice as bright as the Philips. I don't know why Osram downplays their bulbs, because they're definitely bright. And I feel like look how, I don't know if you can see how far out the light's going, but it's going out pretty far. I'm really like amazed by how bright these headlights are. Check out the foreground light there too. It's really good. I mean, the light goes like way out here. A lot of good color on the projector. These projectors aren't that great. I'll show you with the fog lights too. So the headlights match these LED fog lights almost perfectly. You can just kind of get a good perspective of how bright these are. I mean, they're really bright, but you don't need them. I mean, these headlights literally solved a huge problem I've always had with this car. The only reason why I went with these LED fog lights was because the Philips bulbs were just not bright enough, and that is completely fixed. So the last thing I have to do, unfortunately, you probably I have to find a garage to show it to you, but the left headlight is slightly too low, so I just have to, you know, just aim it a little bit higher. But man, wow, the cutoff is so much nicer. Really happy with this overall upgrade. But that'll pretty much do it, guys. Like I said, if I do find a garage, I'll show it to you really quickly, like the cutoff and everything, but I don't know where the one is where we are right now. We're kind of traveling right now, so kind of hard to find a garage if you don't know where it's at. So if I find one, I will put it in this video for you, okay? So here is the cutoff. Like I said, there's a little bit more color on the projector cutoff line there versus what it was. At least it looks like it has more color versus the OEM Philips bulbs. Now all I have to do is just level this one up just a little bit. It's really easy to do. I have my screwdriver in the car, but all you have to do is just find let me get my flashlight. Hold on 1 second. Alright, so this is the right and left. adjustment. We don't need that one. We need the up and down adjustment right here. It's gonna be right there. I don't know if you guys can see it. And that's pretty much it. I just have to push it up a little bit and we'll be pretty much done. But again, thank you for watching this video. Hope it was helpful. See you soon.